Greetings. Um, Today we have a topic that makes me squirm and be disappointed and angry with life, which is the rigidity of humanities in academia. What do I mean by this? So the humanities, history, literature, whatever, all of these, anthropology, I guess, is part of the humanities. All of these wonderful, wonderful fields. You see, I'm a humanities guy. Like, if you look up the books I read, but if they're not novels, they're something humanities related. I never open a science book and be like, "Oh, that's fascinating," you know. I'm not. I'm just not that type of guy. That's not what I read for my entertainment. I would like to read something humanity related, whether it be philosophy or something about history I didn't know about, or maybe even like just like to learn about a new peoples, like whatever, the Mayas, whatever, people that are like sometimes currently living and sometimes not. Um, Whatever, right? Humanity related. And what I notice is like if you go, I always thought like a humanities class is this like sandbox, you know, that you just throw yourself into and you play with the sand and everything's fun. Because as far as I'm concerned, like you go to the engineering class and it's like people are like wanting to break you there, but it's not the same for the humanities. Humanities is for fun, you know. You go to a humanity class and enjoy yourself because the doctor is just spending 50 minutes. Not even he doesn't even need to write an equation. How amazing is that, right? But sadly, that's not the case, right? You go there and you realize you're in the same shithole, just a different anus. Um, and the reason I think so is because like the humanities became like what do you call it? A memorize and puke out words field, right? Where like the students are required to memorize things, memorize why things are good subjectively, and just build their career around that or build their college cred on that, you know? And I find this disappointing. Like, okay, what? I memorize everything and I enter, and that's that. And of course, I'm not talking about every college and every existence. It's just what the field looks like. And I'm talking particularly about a major I wanted to major in as a kid, which is English literature. I always thought in my head, I'm like, I need to study the greats in order to become great at writing myself, right? I need to like see what they did right and what they did wrong and do those and not repeat those, right? And I thought, okay, the easiest way to do it is English literature because not only that, it just gives you the tools. I thought there'll be a class called like storytelling tactics, you know, in literature, and what tactics do writers use to make the flow. And I thought there were multiple ones, and you can follow this or follow that, and character development. How do you do it? Stuff like that. I thought like a legit like analysis of great works to eventually make your own great work. And I thought that was what a PhD was, by the way, which is you write your own book, and if it gets critically acclaimed, you get the PhD, right? In literature. And before I enter a literature class and see that it's all fangirling about dead people, and I'm like, what about the new guys? Why are you guys stuck in Shakespeare? I think he's wonderful. No offense there. Okay, boring, but like wonderful and all that. Like linguistically superior, blah blah blah. But still, guys, like, what about the new guys? What about Martin? What about Tolkien? What about these guys? Why aren't these being put in the literature curriculums as examples of good literature? What does the author have to die and his corpse has to become like dust on the ground, even his bones are non-existent before you like make something out of him? You know, I don't get it. It's and that's just for literature, but like history, like the fun of history sucked out of it now. It's all this old documented things, and oh, we want to be as accurate as possible, and points to you for that. But guys, if you're gonna tell a 101 class what happened, why do the dates matter? If you're gonna tell this to like a high school student, why do the dates matter? Why does the sequence of event being in this particular way matter too much? Like this year this happened, and the year after this and that happened, but keep in mind one was done in August and one was done in October. All right, be careful. Why just tell us the story, tell us what happened, you know. Doesn't matter, the date doesn't matter, I won't remember the date, tell me what happened. Right. And I can go to every other field, but the idea is like the fun of of the humanities, to me at least, is the fact that I get to do no real objective analysis, like true objectivity, and I can rely on my subjective compass in order to guide me through what is good and what is bad. And the subjective compass can be refined to recognize quality. So the idea is, if an engineer analyzes the entire situation objectively and then relies on his engineering sense, i.e., his subjectivity, in order to solve the problem, the same way should happen for um, the humanities, but in the reverse order, right? Which is you take the entire take and like take your immersion, your subjective points, and do your subjective analysis of the whole thing and your opinion and whether you liked it or not. And after you've made your mind about it, you challenge that to an objective lens and see whether your critique was justified or not, or your enjoyment or lack thereof is justified or not, before you get to talk and present your point. And I find it refreshing, honestly. I find it and like something that's way better to do in my pastime, and subjects I studied are of the humanities, and like, you know, electives and shit. Yet I see it. It's rigid. It removes the subjectivity part to like for comfort more than anything, because discussing with 30 students is a hard thing, and doctors don't want a hard job, they just want to teach. And that's the problem. If you're an instructor, you cannot you cannot love yourself, you must hate yourself. You're trying to make 30 people of different backgrounds learn the same material. It's insane. Okay, teaching is a very hard job, especially at that scale. Yet people don't really the people don't really give it enough justice, right? So yeah, in the end, like, I just dislike this rigidity, and I hope that it gets removed as more time passes, because, like, I tell you, this is not pleasant. What I'm seeing in like, um, in the humanities, like, y'all are supposed to be more fun, all right? That's all I'm supposed to say. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issues, and I'll see you guys later.